Hi everyone, hope you're all having a great day today. In today's video, I'm going to talk about BlackBerry stock because they posted a press release stating they've appointed a new CEO for the company. I'm going to go over the press release. I'm going to go over a potential upgrade from an analyst, and I'm going to go over some positive news and my viewpoints overall for the company and how it's moving forward. Now, if you go to BlackBerry Investors Relations website, click on press releases, you could pull up the press release that was posted today on December 11th, 2023. And before I continue, like always, I'm not a professional, so please do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling. And also bear in mind while you're watching this video that I do own shares in BlackBerry, so we do keep that in mind. BlackBerry appoints John Giamatteo as CEO. John Giamatteo has been within the company since October 2021 as well. I'm going to touch base on that later on within this posting. Company to pursue full separation of IoT and cybersecurity business units. Industry veteran Giamatteo to lead BlackBerry as CEO. IoT cybersecurity business units to become fully standalone BlackBerry divisions. And I'll expand on that as well, explain everything within that point. Process underway to separate centralized functions and right-size cost structures. Company will no longer pursue subsidiary IPO of IoT business. That is actually big news. And so that correlates with the second point. Instead of IPOing the IoT side of business, they're thinking just to basically create two divisions under BlackBerry. One's going to be the IoT side of business, the other one's going to be cybersecurity side of business. And further along in the press release, they mentioned that they're essentially going to have two teams, one for the IoT, one for the cybersecurity, since they're two separate divisions. So there will not be a new ticker symbol for a BlackBerry portion of the business. And if you remember in the beginning, the IPO was supposed to be 20 to 30% potentially for the IoT side of business, and BlackBerry will still own 70 to 80% of the IoT business under the BB ticker symbol. It was supposed to be subsidiary split. Now, new organization structure. Okay, so new organization structure to present greater options for enhancing shareholders' value. This is good. Obviously, every company should still have that viewpoint the whole entire time in terms of bringing value and increasing shareholders' value as they're moving along within the company. But this ties in with Project Imperium because it did end, and that whole entire Project Imperium was to bring more value to shareholders, right? But one of the biggest things was the IPO portion, I guess. Now, BlackBerry today announced that the appointment of John Giamatteo is the new CEO and as a member of the board of directors as well, effective immediately. Richard Lynch, who has served as interim chief executive officer since November 4th, 2023, will continue as board chair. The company also announced that it will separate the IoT business and cybersecurity businesses and that they will operate as fully standalone divisions. BlackBerry will no longer pursue as a subsidiary IPO of the IoT business. So there's that, and no new ticker symbol, right? Appointment of John Giamatteo as BlackBerry CEO. Giamatteo has served as the president of BlackBerry Cybersecurity Business Unit since October 2021. And I'm gonna mention something here because you could be thinking, well, he's been within BlackBerry since then. And if you remember from the Q&A portion for the IPO, John Chen mentioned that the IoT portion of the business is cash flow positive, as opposed to the cybersecurity side, it is losing cash, right? Now, they mentioned that for some time that they've been dumping so much in R&D for the cybersecurity side, so that cost was not offset by the revenue coming in, so it was constantly bleeding money. The one thing that they did mention that I think is important to know is that they said they've developed so much new technology that they are no longer in the R&D aspect stage of the cybersecurity side. I can't talk, sorry. And now the cost is pretty much going to be very low, where the revenue could offset that cost, and then you'll be in the profit side and cash flow positive. Now the question was arisen, or John Chen mentioned, I can't remember if he was asked about it or not, but the goal is to obviously be cash flow positive as soon as possible. And he was saying that hopefully that they will be cash flow positive within a year. In that Q&A, if I remember, it was on October 17th of this year. I can't remember exact date, but it was in October for the most part. So there's that to consider. So it could have been that John Giamatteo, when he came in, he essentially was trying to restructure, hypothetically, the cybersecurity side to develop and all that stuff, and then develop better products. So that's why hypothetically he was not profitable. In case if, like, to play devil's advocate in terms of is he good or not good for this position as CEO, if he couldn't make the cybersecurity side profitable, what's to say that he will make the whole entire company profitable, right? So there's that aspect to it. Now, Giamatteo has over 30 years of experience with global technology companies, As president of BlackBerry Cybersecurity Business Unit, he has driven significant enhancements to the product portfolio, go-to-market strategy, and organizational efficiency. Prior to BlackBerry, he was president and chief revenue officer at McAfee. Before that, John served as a chief operating officer at AVG Technologies, a leading provider of internet and mobile security. He also held leadership positions with SolarAy, Real Networks, and Nortel Networks. So pretty extensive track record. And again, we'll see how this all turns out overall, given that if at one point cybersecurity will be cash flow positive and IoT we already know is cash flow positive, it could be all great signs. And plus we have some positive signs to go over after this press release too as well. We are delighted to appoint John to the role of the CEO for what will be a transformative period in BlackBerry's history as we work to fully separate our two core business units to drive enhanced shareholders value, which is great. Again, like I said, we always want a company to look at the shareholders in terms of bringing them greater value for the share price, right? His deep industry experience and outstanding track record of inspiring teams and delivering operational excellence means he is strongly positioned to drive this critical transformation at BlackBerry, said Mike Daniels, chair of Compensation, Nomination, and Governance Committee of BlackBerry Board. I'm honored, John Giamatteo is saying this basically, so I'm honored and excited to lead the next phase of BlackBerry evolution as a CEO. BlackBerry's IoT and cybersecurity business have market-leading technology, exceptional teams, and a large market opportunity. The board and I are fully aligned of the next steps needed to unlock the value with BlackBerry and work on this effort will proceed at full speed. I look forward to working with the entire team to uphold our legacy of innovation and continue providing exceptional service to our customers as we deliver on our goals. So good stuff, hopefully. Well, it is good stuff, but hopefully it comes to fruition in terms of what are we expecting to happen, right? Reassessment of strategic direction. So this is in terms of following up on Project Imperium in terms of the assessment. So following a reassessment of the previously announced outcome of Project Imperium, the BlackBerry board has decided to pursue a separation of IoT and cybersecurity business and establish them as standalone divisions. So we'll still be under BlackBerry. It won't be new ticker symbols. It'll just be two divisions under BlackBerry. The company will no longer pursue a subsidiary initial public offering of its IoT business, again, so no IPO. The process will include the separation of streamlining of BlackBerry's centralized corporate functions into business units, specific teams with a view to each division to each division operating independently and on a profitable and cash flow positive basis going forward. The board, with input from its advisors, believe that a full separation of BlackBerry IoT and cybersecurity business will open up a number of strategic alternatives that can unlock shareholder value, said Dick Lynch, board chair, BlackBerry, part of BlackBerry. Management is focused on moving quickly to complete this reorganization that will further enhance the focus of business on their respective markets as well as their capacity for fast, flexible decision making. To assist in the separation and right size process, BlackBerry is in full stages of selecting a consulting firm to bring expertise and additional resources for independent ground up assessment. Sorry, I couldn't read the last part for some reason. So there's that. So that's the whole entire press release. But now I'm going to go over some potential good news points, and then I'm going to go over the analyst potential expectation. Again, the reason why I'm saying potential expectation is because I haven't seen an official post. I'm going to go over a Reddit post and go from there. So for some good news is we already know that Prem Watsa has been buying up more shares, it looks like, in terms of BlackBerry stock. Prem Watsa is on the board of BlackBerry, but he's part of Fairfax Holdings, which gave out a loan to BlackBerry, BlackBerry company, and BlackBerry has paid off a portion of that loan, a good portion of that loan, but they have a remaining portion, and he renewed that loan a little bit all the way till February to potentially, February is the first extension, and then there's a second extension, I believe it was I think it was sometime May, right? And he renewed it at 1.75% interest rate, which is very low, a very low interest rate, especially in today's market. And he could have easily bumped it up to 3%. So anything under 3%, in my opinion, is free money, especially at 1.75%. So if he's buying up shares, gave really low interest rate, I think he's pretty optimistic, especially since he's on the board of BlackBerry, right? So he's a little bit on the know. And if you go to Yahoo Finance, type in BlackBerry ticker symbol, go to holders, and then go to insider transactions. As of recent, within the year, there hasn't been much selling within the insiders, like the board of directors. And so the last transaction we had was on September 28th. Kurtz was awarded about 27,000 shares, sold about 16,000 shares. And then after that was Ericsson. He was awarded about 40,000 shares, sold about 11,000 shares. And before that was Dickman. He was awarded about 88 shares, and he sold about 28,000 shares. So there was a lot of selling in January, but usually that's for tax purposes. And if you look at previous years, there was a decent amount of selling in September, June, April timeframe. This time it's just only been a little bit, like just one person selling during these timeframes. Could mean nothing, could mean something. I just wanted to go over it because just given the combination of not too many people selling from the insiders, at the same time Prem Watts is buying shares, and he's giving a little bit leeway in terms of interest rate. It's low. I think this could be kind of good news, especially tied up with potentially an analyst bumping up his price target pretty decently, like pretty high up in my opinion. Well, like not high up crazy in terms of expectations for the company, but for what he could be expecting for the short term, it's pretty decent. So if you go to Reddit, there's BlackBerry like underscore stock by a post by New Wobbly Wheeler. He mentions that TD ups his target from $4 to $12. So if you click on the image, you could see right about here, TD Securities, Chan Daniel, on December 11th, 2023, upped his price target $12. So I did look him up, and if this is accurate fully, it looks like his success rate is about 59%. It looks like he covers Canadian stocks. So in terms of Canadian stocks and his price target, and TD Bank being the Canadian side, I think his price target is $12 Canadian. So if you convert that, that's about $8.84 Canadian American in today's market for the currency conversion. Now that's still pretty good because currently we're at $4.10 US. And then if you look up BlackBerry for his success rate, he has a 78% success rate and a 22% return on his estimates, what he's given BlackBerry overall. So doesn't mean that he'll be correct completely or anything. What changed? I don't think much changed from what I've been reading on the posts, but we'll see when it actually officially comes out and we could go over it. So there's that. So given all that information, press release, John Giamatteo, from what they said from the Q&A, that they were dumping a lot in the research and development, but then now they're not dumping anymore, and it should be, the cost is low on the research and development side, so obviously the revenue coming in will offset the cost, and we should be cash flow positive hypothetically soon, but according to John Chen, it could be up to a year from what he stated, but anything could change with a time frame, and we know Q3 and Q4 is going to be strong. Oh, actually, we don't know for sure for Q3, but Q4, from what was stated, is supposed to be strong. But I think, given that we have 3 government contracts that came in, that was pretty big in my opinion, especially for the US one. I think we might beat street estimates and have year-over-year growth and quarter-over-quarter growth, which is awesome if that is true, because then obviously the share price will respond favorably for shareholders. So that's basically it. Hopefully you like the video. Hopefully you find it informative. If you did, consider dropping a like. It helps out the channel, so thank you so much for that. And consider subscribing so you'll be notified when I do upload the next video. That's basically it. I'll see you guys in the next video.